All right, guys. So my name is Dozer from the F45 network and also Geronimo. So I've got here with us Gary Redmond. So the reason why we're doing this Zoom is because this is something that I don't think has been talked about enough. And as small business owners that have copped a fair whack over the last kind of year or more with various lockdowns or whatever, this government subsidy plan or incentive is an absolute no-brainer for us. So, Gary, did you want to introduce yourself, mate?
Yeah, hi. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I'm Gary from Australian College. So we're a registered training organisation, and Andrew's invited me here today to have a bit of a chat about the Boosting Apprenticeship Scheme, which is a wage subsidy program. So it's designed for businesses to attract new staff or recent hires that also applicable to. So we'll run through a few of the details shortly.
So this is part of the government's COVID-19 recovery plan, yeah?
Yeah, so the original program has been around for 20 plus years. Okay, what they've done recently during COVID is they've went and laid a wage subsidy over the top of that existing program. So the program was a funded training program. The employer would get some incentives. The staff member would get some training. What's changed is they've now said that they will pay up to $28,000 as a wage subsidy as well. So that's just huge. Yeah, huge. So that's just taken this program absolutely next level.
So why doesn't everyone know about this?
The reason people don't really understand why is because it's poorly marketed from the government. They call it the Boosting Apprenticeship Scheme. Okay, so people just think apprenticeships and they go, well, I don't employ apprentices, therefore it doesn't apply to me. So I don't employ plumbers or whatever that may be, not applicable. What they don't realize is it's much broader than that. So that program also extends to traineeships. And that program and the traineeship program is a few thousand courses that are relevant, which what we find is most businesses have a course that's appropriate. So what we've done for some of the F45's and quite a lot of other businesses is we've trained their staff in customer service, sales, leadership, administration, and these programs are all funded under the Boosting Apprenticeship Scheme. So once we explain that it's much broader and it's applicable to most businesses in some capacity, we're finding that people get really excited about it, and so they should.
Yeah, and so they should. So look, just from we've been doing it. So I've been enrolled in this. My staff have been enrolled in this program since the back end of last year when you first told me about this, and the money's already dropped into our account, and it's phenomenal. And so what I've done with my F45 staff is we've enrolled them into what is Cert 4 in leadership
and Cert 4 in business. Sorry, Cert 4 in business and Certificate 4 in leadership and management.
Yeah, and so what we've done is we've actually offered that as part of a leadership program within our business. There's not many studios that are offering leadership programs for their staff. So what sort of staff are eligible?
So there's a fairly tight eligibility criteria, as you can imagine. However, in broad terms, now this is going out Australia-wide. So I'm going to talk about the federal eligibility. So what occurs is this program has got federal incentives, and then each state has their own incentives. Okay, so I'll talk about it in broad terms from a federal perspective, and then I'll go into minor detail about the states. And then when we chat to anybody that's interested in the program, I can go into much more specific details around their individual circumstances. At a broad federal level, full-time staff. So it's designed for people that are either newly employed or recently employed. So recently employed is full-time in the last kind of 3 to 6 months and part-time casual in the last 12 months. Okay, so that's the time frame requirement. Secondly, you need to be doing a minimum number of hours per week in order to access the program. So in some of the states, it's 15 hours a week, and in New South Wales and in Queensland, it's 21 hours per week. So you need to be doing minimum hours per week as a part-time staff member or better in order to access the program. Now, there's a couple of things around that. If we have had casual staff, so a lot of businesses have casualized nature of their employment, what we can do is if they're transferred to a part-time contract, then they may be eligible from the program at that point. So it's not necessarily about what they've been doing, it's about what you plan to do with the staff members. So that's minimum hours a week, recently employed. They must be an Australian resident or permanent or a citizen. Okay, they do allow New Zealand residents as long as they've been here for longer than 6 months. So that rules out all visa holders basically. The only other major criteria is there can't be a director or a shareholder. okay, or a business relationship with the company. So if, the owner of the business, they would be ineligible. However, if there's other family members whom are not a director or shareholder, or obviously the staff, and as long as they fit that criteria, generally speaking, they hit an eligibility scenario. Now, existing qualifications in most instances do not rule them out of eligibility. They may change eligibility here and there, but it doesn't rule them out. If you're trying to do a leadership program, but you already have a degree in business, well, that would rule you out. But if you have a qualification in almost any other area, so we're training in a different area, a different training package, doesn't rule them out. So what we're finding is, with the fitness groups, they've got Cert 3 or Cert 4 in fitness. We put them on a leadership program. They're still eligible for the program.
And just to be clear, just to be clear, so as long as your staff are eligible, the government, as part of the new COVID-19 stimulus plan, will cover up to 50% of their wage cost for 12 months, up to $28,000 per person.
Correct. So the way that works is if you earn $56,000 a year or more, you will attract the maximum benefit of $28,000 per person. It's paid quarterly in arrears, so that's $7,000 per quarter. Now, if you're paying a part-time person and they're on $30,000 part-time, you'll get back $15,000. Okay, so and that's paid quarterly in arrears as well. And there's some other incentives on top of that. They're not quite as great, but some additional incentives. If they don't have any existing qualifications, there's up to another $4,000 as a completion incentive. If your business is large and you're paying payroll tax or group payroll tax, there's a payroll tax rebate in most of the states. So there's quite a lot of additional benefits as well. Some of the states pay for the cost of the training. So New South Wales will entirely cover the cost of the training. Victoria will subsidise a little bit. Queensland doesn't come to the party at all. So there's a few different scenarios in the states. And that's why when we chat with you individually about your individual circumstance, I'll map that out for you. But in broad terms, there's a phenomenal amount of benefit from this program.
Is there a cap to the number of employees you can register?
No.
Is there a requirement to have a drop in revenue or anything similar like some of the other stuff?
So a lot of the other programs that were around had some,
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
had some niche criteria. Okay. So one of the benefits of this program is it's quite broad. There are some other training programs around that people may have heard of, Job Trainer and all that. They've got really niche criteria. You must be under 24 years old. You must be, long-term unemployed. None of that criteria applies.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to have a drop in revenue. It doesn't have to be an increase in employment scenario. So you don't have to take on more, increase your staff members. If you have somebody leave today and you have a new staff member to leave, employed tomorrow, then as long as they meet the eligibility criteria, then they would be eligible for the program.
Which is massive. So the program literally is here by the government to incentivize us to hire, train, develop, new and existing employees, and the upside to us is huge.
And it's to give you the confidence to do so. So with all the businesses we've been chatting to, they're like, we're busy, we want to expand, but I'm a bit uncertain as to what might happen. If we get another lockdown, which is happening right now in Victoria, it drains confidence. So what the government's done is put this out there and it'll provide you a wage subsidy for 50%. And what we found is, some businesses, like I was thinking about taking on one, now I can take on two people because I get effectively one for free, because they both get a wage subsidy. And the power that has within businesses is phenomenal.
Right. Okay. So guys, if you're watching this video, so obviously Gary and his company is very, very busy at the moment doing all this. Because I remember there was the government released a certain amount and then they've extended it, right?
Yeah, they did. So this is the 4th generation of the program. Okay.
Wow.
What they've done is they've just fine-tuned it along the way. And one of, the first one was out for 3 months, and then the second one was out for 100,000 places. They thought that 100,000 places would get taken up in a year. It was taken up in 3.5 months. As you can imagine, a lot of the other programs haven't been very successful, and for good reason. And that's because they're too niche and they're too hard to access. Whereas this program, whilst it may seem a little bit confusing at broad strokes, just have a chat to me and we'll sort it all out for you. But this is uncapped. They've just announced a recent extension. So it's extended. And as long as you access the program prior to the closure of the program, then you'll get the benefit for the next 12 months.
When does the program close? Do we know?
30 June. 30 March 2022.
Unless the places get filled up soon.
Uncapped. It's a demand-driven model. So the government's realised that this program has been phenomenally successful. So now what they've done is they've extended the time frame and they've moved it to an uncapped nature.
Okay. So guys watching this video in whichever Facebook group you're in, these guys are obviously really busy at the moment, kind of onboarding all these businesses and assessing everyone's eligibility and things like that. I'm going to attach a form to this video, and if you fill in via this form, Gary's been kind enough for you guys to essentially skip the queue and book in a time with Gary via the calendar link. It's all in that form, so make sure you capture your business details in that form so he has it and he can put you at the top of the list, because yeah, as you can imagine, things are going to fill up pretty fast. Anything else that these guys need to know?
No, look, I'm happy to chat with anybody. You know, even if you're not sure or you're unsure, just book in a time. Happy to have a chat. If there's something we can't help you with, you know, we're not approved to deliver a particular program, I'll just put you in touch with a business that is able to. If you're in Tasmania or something along those lines, we're not able to service you, I'll just make sure that we can get somebody that will. So I'm more than happy to point you in the right direction. We can cover most of the country. And look, other than that, it's if you in the form, there's just a few things we need to know about your business so that I can get a sense and understanding of what type of business you are, and I can tell you straight away, you know, over the phone whether you're likely to be eligible with a couple of staff or you'll be ineligible.
So we've done this for my 3 companies, and I think the onboarding procedure. So once we sort of filled out the eligibility stuff, you guys gave it the tick of approval. We got onboarded, within the week. The trainer came out or on Zoom, within a couple of weeks, and the guys are currently within their various training programs. So I think it's worth noting as well. So do you want to just explain how the training gets administered?
Yeah, sure. So there's a bit of a process. Obviously, when we're accessing government funds, there's a lot goes on behind the scenes. However, in broad terms, we assess your eligibility. We work out who's eligible, who's not, or who could potentially be eligible if you make an employment change. You chat with your staff, get their involvement, and we kind of talk to them and you about how that works. Once everybody's happy to proceed, we do an enrollment and induction session. So that's either face-to-face or via Zoom, usually via Zoom at the moment, just with how busy everybody is. Once that's done, the various parties, we report all that data to the government. Okay, they approve it. You get some confirmations to say it's approved. And then we just allocate a trainer and then conduct some monthly sessions. Okay, so the way training looks like with our business programs, as an example, would be 3 hours once a month, okay, over a 12-month period is typically how we administer those programs. It's either face-to-face in Metropolitan or Zoom is by far the most popular program at the moment. So we're getting Zoom sessions, 3 hours contact every month. There's an online platform as well. And over the course of 12 months, they should be able to achieve their qualification. Everybody has up to 2 years in order to complete. So you've got a bit of flexibility if things happen within the business, but typically, you just negotiate that with your trainer.
Fantastic. All right, mate, this is awesome. So, okay, this is going to help a lot of businesses that watch this. This is going to help a lot of businesses that watch this, particularly ones down in Victoria. Feel for you guys. I know some governments are giving away $5,000 and stuff like that. Definitely get that as well. But this is going to be the thing that actually brings a lot of oxygen and cash flow into your business. Imagine getting up to 30 grand back per eligible staff that you've got across the year. So we're certainly enjoying that, and I want to make sure that you guys know about it so you guys can access it as well. So the call to action here is to basically fill out that link that you'll see in this post. That'll go straight to Gaz, and then he'll put you at the top of the list. Book in the time with him as well via his calendar link. You guys will have a chat. I'll leave that. Yeah, you guys will have a chat, and then he'll work out how many of your staff are eligible. And then they've been great to sort of hold our hands throughout the entire process. And now the whole team's getting trained and money's dropping into our account. So that's pretty much it. Any last things, Gaz?
No, I think that's about it. I think next steps is just fill in the link, and I'm happy to chat with people and just talk about their individual circumstances.
Great. Thanks for coming on, Gary.
No worries. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Talk soon.
Thanks, Andrew. Bye.